For this video, I want to shout out the team at Think Media and specifically Sean Cannell. I've been watching a couple of videos of his as we wrap up the year, where he sat down and just took random questions from his team, really about who he is, what he does, what inspires him. Talked about money, family, all those things. And I was like, wow, who do I trust to ask me some questions that I think the audience would like? And the one and only Millennial Mike is the answer. So how you doing, buddy?
I'm good, and I'm happy to be here asking these questions because, I think it's very, very important for people not only to do things like read the book and follow the channel, but you really need to actually study the people that you learn from. It's important to know more about them than just what their message is. You need to actually know what their goals are, what makes them tick, what their aspirations are. This is actually a great way to avoid fake gurus. If you go one level deeper than the analysis into who the person is and why they do what they do, you understand why Dion, the lumberjack, and Michael Zuber are great mentors and teachers. And so what I'm going to do is ask some questions here about his goals coming up for the next year, personal goals, portfolio goals, some of the different questions that maybe you guys have wondered, and we'll see how many of them I get right. So let's start with, what are you planning to do with your portfolio moving forward? Are you going to try to grow it, try to minimize it, maybe some 1031 exchanges?
So I think there's a couple of things. And again, this is a decision that is with Olivia and I. So these are not just mine. We have this portfolio together. So one thing that we will likely do in 2024 is we will likely look at our portfolio probably after tax day. So right around, let's call it April 15th. And we will look at the worst performer of the year, and we will likely sell that. That is something we did this year, and we have a couple of dogs. In fact, the dog that we sold this year is actually putting in our tricked out backyard in our Vegas home, right? So we are enjoying the fruits of our labor. So I suspect we will sell one property next year. It will be a house, a duplex, something of that nature. I will likely 1031 that into Vegas, right? The big thing for me on the channel is I have enough. I've been very clear. I'm sitting on my plateau, enjoying the fruits of our labor. I took a month off in January to be in Asia. I took three off in November. I don't believe, bigger is better. You have to keep growing. These folks that are multimillionaires and have cash flow that never stop. I don't get that. But I love my audience. I love challenging myself. So one thing I plan to do in my portfolio is create a new buy box in Las Vegas, Henderson, somewhere. Just to see. I'm going to work with different agents. I'm going to do exactly what I did 20 years ago. And, I would love to take that 1031 of our dud and buy a cash flow rental in Vegas or Henderson or like area, just to prove it could work. I know it's hard. I know people tell me nothing cash flows, but I'm going to hopefully walk everybody through creating a brand new buy box, meeting new people, and just documenting the process. I can't guarantee you I'll get something because I won't buy an alligator. But that's got me a little excited, is getting uncomfortable again. Today I'm very comfortable. It's pretty wired. I get enough deals coming my way, but yeah, I think the big thing for 2024 is, hey, let's go see if you can do it again, old man.
I think that's interesting because a lot of people who have started to watch your journey, myself included, we met you as a finished product. We met you after you'd retired when your first video started coming out. We met you, most people, after you wrote the book, after you already had so many rental properties. So to get to watch you do it in a new market from day one and see if the principles still work, and then recording that process, I think will be entertaining and be valuable for a lot of people. But that makes me think about all the way back to what day one looked like for you. You've been interviewing a ton of brand new investors, people who are sharing their stories so that you can share with your audience what it's like to be the new guy, the new wannabe investor. My question for you is, a lot of these new investors have like I want to make it to $10,000 a month in cash flow, or I want to make it to 10 rentals or 3 rentals in my first year. When Mike Zuber hit his first year, what were your original cash flow goals? And how many rental properties did you think you wanted to get or you would need?
Yeah, my year one goal was 4 rental properties. And my year one goal had nothing to do with cash flow, although they had to be positive cash flow. I've never, ever wanted to own something negative. The only reason I wanted 4, Mike, was I thought in 30 years when the tenants paid it off, I would have a retirement better than most. I would have optionality. That was my big vision, folks. 4, and let's be clear, it was 4 single family homes. At the end of year one, I think we had 2. I thought I could get 1 more the second year and maybe the 1 more what would be the third year. That was the extent of my goal. I have never had, a lot of people say if your goals don't scare you, they're not big enough. I've never had that when it came to real estate. I've never said I want to be a billionaire. Shit, I've never said I want to be worth $100 million. I'm very good at getting my head down and just doing the next thing. I will admit that's both a strength and a weakness. Like, people ask me all the time, what's the big goal for the channel or this or that? Dude, I'm so excited every day to do this 5 days a week, to talk to my friends now, to talk to new investors now, to do the daily financial news live. When I shut down at 11 o'clock today, I will be excited for tomorrow and excited for the next day. I am comfortable there. I think a weakness of mine is I don't have those big, crazy, audacious goals. It has always been that way. And I don't know how to fix that, frankly. So yeah, back at the beginning, 4 properties, nothing any bigger than that, because I thought if the tenants paid it off in 30 years, I'd have an extra $1 million or $2 million in equity that would make, the last 40 years of our lives better. That was it.
Well, I would definitely say that you accomplished those goals. you made it happen. You made it to 4.
I got it to 4. Yeah, I got to 4.
So it's interesting that you talk about, I don't have these big, ambitious goals for the channel, because my next question was, in my opinion, the next most important thing to you, and maybe it's the first most important thing to you after your portfolio now. What are the plans for your channel? We had a goal to get to 50,000 subscribers. Do we have another subscriber goal for the end of 2024? Where would you like to see your channel go?
See, that I'm glad you brought this up, because I hopefully people know this. That 50,000 goal wasn't mine. It was created by one of my millionaires, Dion, who said, I think at like 18,000 or so, Zuber, you should throw a party when you get to 50,000. Mike, I never thought we would get there. Never thought it would happen. I just keep my head down and go, right? So no, I haven't thought about a goal for the end of 2024. And I don't know, I really don't know if that's good or bad. I'm having fun every day. I'm seeing people almost every day reach out saying you're changing my life, which is fuel to the fire. I'm starting to think about this. I do this at the end of the year. Let's just say, for example, I wanted to hit 100,000 by the end of 2024. I think in order to do that, I would have to do something different. In my mind, I would have to do something different that doesn't feed my soul. Something I have learned on YouTube is if you want to grow fast, go negative. It's not who I am. I have no interest in selling my soul for a freaking penny. Are you freaking kidding me? Really? A penny? These guys sell their soul for a penny. It's wild. So I don't have a fast goal. I love sending out my cards. We did those first 500. Yeah, I don't have a goal. It's funny you bring this up, because one of the things I had when I was talking to Sean Cannell at Think Media and Ryan Pineda, this was probably 4 or 5 months ago, both of them told me in no uncertain terms, I produce too much content. I produce so much content every day, the YouTube algorithm doesn't know how to act. If you guys don't know how YouTube works, the first 2 hours of a video, it's collecting information, it's checking out how it's reacting, and then it gets into the algorithm. Folks, I release a new video every 2 hours. It has no chance to hit the algorithm. So something I did do based on their feedback is I didn't produce less content. I created 2 separate channels. because I wanted the daily financial news to stand by itself. And then I created a best of ORAT, which both those channels get one video a day. I think those channels, I think the daily financial news, frankly, has a chance, if it ever really catches on, to be bigger than my main channel because it is built for the algorithm.
Right.
The best of ORAT is built for the algorithm. This channel that we're on here that now has 55,000 subs, it's my channel. I don't give a fuck about the YouTube algorithm. I'm going to be me and do me. So that's what I think.
It's funny that you say, oh, I don't have any big goals. The only way to make some of these things happen would be if I do something different. And then you seem to get a little passionate there at the end, you know? I feel like there's a little bit of fight in you. So I would ask the commenters down in the comments below, the people who watch, what do you think his goal should be in terms of subscribers? What do you think it should be by the end of 2024? Because I think hitting 100,000 is absolutely within reach, especially the way that exponential growth works. I mean, you grinded to 50 and then you went from 50 to 55 like that. Then it slows back down and then it kicks back. That's just the way that it works. So I think that you could hit 100,000 by the end of this year.
Well,
But
let's be clear. The only way I hit 100,000 this year, I'm not going to do anything different. It's my audience. If my audience finds a video that they like every day and routinely shares it with their audience, I have a chance. I have a chance to get to 100,000 because I ain't changing. That's pretty clear. But if my audience goes, ooh, I like that one. I like this one. Let me share it with my community. That could help. That could absolutely help.
So I'm going to change topics here for a second on something you've talked about once or twice that I've always been curious to see if you'll take this next step. You've talked about economic white papers. Now, I'm not super familiar with exactly how this works, so I'll have you explain it for the audience. But to me, it seemed like a much more formal version of the daily financial news, essentially. But you have been making calls about the real estate market and what the Fed will do and how there would be a crash in inventory, or excuse me, in transactions, not in prices. A lot of calls that went against the grain, and you did most of these a year or more early. So much so to the fact that I was like, maybe you should confront the so-called intellectuals and academics and write an economic white paper. What do you think?
So first and foremost, I think that's a wonderful idea. Writing is not a strength of mine. If you've ever seen me write comments or Twitter, I use the wrong word. I misspell everything. Writing is work and not enjoyable to me. And so I have written a couple of what you can refer to as white papers. It's something you do when you're getting your degree in economics and then you go on to get an MBA. It is, I think it's something that I should consider. I think I should tackle, like one of the things that I'm playing with right now is there is a chart that gets quoted and shared all over the place. It is a chart that takes average income and home price and tries to scare the bejesus out of you. That chart is accurate for the two variables that it takes, and also completely meaningless because it doesn't take into account interest rates. I have been playing with the idea because the data is in my 53-year spreadsheet, is going in and correcting for the bias. I think it would be interesting to kind of break that down point by point. I know that it would set off 20% of the community that just follows these idiots and morons. And what stops me is I don't want to deal with stupid people. I don't want to deal with their comments. I've blocked a lot of them, but it would bring a lot more. So that's what always holds me back. I actually am thinking about doing that over this next 7 or 10 days is to kind of build that chart and see what happens. So I don't know. I think you're right. I think I should step up and write a couple of papers about the housing market is broken. Why? What could fix it? I think it'd be a fun exercise to do. So I like that idea. I might do it.
The idea that spurred this question for me was I was on, I think it was the Daily Financial News channel. I was reading through comments, and this wasn't really a question, so I didn't include it in our normal Q&A, but it was just an insult. It was wow, look at this guy in a sweater trying to pretend like he understands macroeconomics. How cute. And I read
I
that,
saw
and
that
like,
too.
this guy doesn't know that you have an economics degree and 20 plus years of investing experience in a channel that doesn't have 3,000 subscribers, but has 55,000 subscribers. You've been doing the Daily Financial News for the last 3 years. You've made multiple calls years in advance ahead of other people, and on and on and on. And so it was like, maybe it's time to not just be Mike Zuber, the YouTuber, and maybe you should go challenge formal academia and say, you guys are getting it wrong. And this YouTuber in his sweater is getting it right. And thank you for wearing that today, by the way. It was totally unplanned.
You're absolutely right. This is my favorite sweater right now. It's so soft. It's so soft. Yeah. No, I saw that comment too. What a clown. Yeah, what a clown. And let's be clear. It is that kind of comment from idiots and morons that I don't like dealing with. I just don't need that negative energy, stupid people.
Well, if that negative energy causes you to take some drastic actions that benefit me, then I'll encourage them to hate the comments. But that's me being selfish. Anyways, next question. Back to a serious question. The 50,000 Live celebration is in Vegas. It's coming up in February. And you've told us over and over again what you want the audience to learn, what you're hoping that the audience is going to gain from the event. But what are you going to learn? What are you going to take away from the event? What do you hope to get?
Wow. I hope to put a lot of faces with names because, again, I read all my comments and I know who replies. So I hope to take a lot of pictures. I hope to autograph a lot of books. I have a cork board in my office, and I want to have another one in Vegas with all these pictures of people that I've helped. And so I hope to have that. Something I hope to bring is a sign that lets all 300 participants autograph it. Maybe write some nice messages because I want to keep that.
Like it.
I hope to celebrate the millionaires. Again, one rental at a time is not Mike Zuber. It is a collection of millionaires. I hope to see people network. Like I keep telling people, some of your friends suck. The 300 people that are coming into this event, they're like people doing it. I hope there's people that makes new lifelong friendships. I want to think about this. Of the 21 millionaires that are coming to talk, I have met in person you, Dion, Matt the mortgage guy, Jason and Jen Pritchard, Sean Cannell, Ty, Adrian, Omar, Beth,
ADU guy.
ADU guy, Derek, Bo Eckstein. I met Dustin. I haven't met Jonathan from Convoy. I met Steve. Oh no, yeah, I met Steve in Vegas. So I met about half of them, right? I'm going to meet Casey in person. I'm going to meet some others. So I'm going to meet Simon, the uneducated economist. I'm going to meet Lance Lambert from Resi Club, formerly at Fortune. So I'm going to get to meet and thank people in person. I hope to exceed expectations. I hope people get more than they expect. I hope the virtual people get more than they expect. I hope this video that ultimately we create and load on Teachable gets watched thousands of times. Because again, we're doing an event very different. I hope it works. This event is going to be 100% based on the audience because I have microphones lined up on the side where they ask questions. Every speaker will get 10 to 15 minutes to cover some base stuff. And then it's line up and ask questions. Nope. I have never been to an event like this. We're going to try something really new. Yeah, I hope, and then the final thing that I hope happens, my plan is at the end of the event, because you, me, Dion, Matt are the last speakers. I will probably be the last speaker of the group. I hope to say the following words. Folks, let's do this again next President's Day weekend. I hope it is such a great event that I tell Melinda that I want to book next year, and I'll give her all the money right now, and we'll do it again. That's what I hope happens.
You know, I couldn't agree more. I think that there should absolutely be a yearly annual convention. I think the only problem is you might have people that say, Mike, come visit us on the East Coast.
Yeah, I agree. So on that, it might be very interesting. So I think, to me, I think the yearly event on President's Day, if I had a magic wand, would be something people can plan for in Vegas. I think you're absolutely right. I've talked to Anna Kelly about doing one on the East Coast. I've talked to Matt very casually. I talked to April Crosley. I'm not opposed to coming out to the East, but I don't have the infrastructure. I don't know the hotels. I don't know the space. And it takes a lot of work. I mean, it took me 200 hours probably to try to put on this event, and I'm not done yet.
Yikes.
I couldn't imagine trying to do that because I had to go there. I had to see sites. I had to be, you want $50,000 for the weekend before food? Seriously? Oh, I mean, it's wild, these things these guys want.
Well, we thank you for putting in the hard work and effort to make sure that we all can fly in and enjoy having a good time meeting and networking with people. We'll be looking forward to it big time. And I don't know if you knew this yet, but Dion, myself are coming down on the 13th. We're going to be there a few days early, specifically so we can hang out with you if you want, network with people. We've been saying to anybody else, if you come early, we'll be there literally just to hang out with people who subscribe and follow and comment on the channel so they can get more time.
Let's put some good karma out there. So something I had planned to do if folks like yourself and Dion came out early is Ryan Pineda, someone that I've interviewed a couple of times and met and now have his number. So we're becoming good friends. He has a space at his office that can hold like 150 people. I've always thought about reaching out to him and saying, hey, I have an event Saturday and Sunday. What if we wanted to hold a free Friday evening event? Could we have your space? Would you want to do it together? I don't know. I plan to ask him that when I'm in town in January. So we'll see. We'll put out some good karma and see if that happens.
I like it. I like it. And funny that you bring up Ryan Pineda, because my next question is that you've been doing a lot more high profile interviews lately, like Ryan Pineda, Meet Kevin, Daniel DiMartino Booth. You even interviewed Elena Cardone a couple of years ago. Who do you want to talk to next? But more importantly, how are you going to make that happen?
So the one guy that I've always said I wanted to talk to was Gary Vee. I love folks that do the work. They just grind. It's kind of how I'm wired. Gary Vee always talks about, he gets asked to be on channels all the time, but people don't do the work. So I'm like, hey, Gary, how's 12,000 videos sound, buddy? It's in 12,000 videos in 5 years. That's 2,000 videos plus a year.
Yeah.
So I think it's time to reach. I think I haven't yet, to your point. I think it's time I and my audience should kind of blow up Gary Vee and say, hey, you should go on one rental at a time, talk about doing the work. Oh, by the way, check him out. 12,000 videos, 5 years. He follows you. He respects you. I think that would be fun. I am trying to get Graham Stephan. I was lucky enough to actually meet Graham Stephan. I posted it on Instagram at Sean Cannell's 40th birthday party. Shout out, Sean. He agreed to do an interview, but so far has been impossible to follow up with, although I'm trying. People send Graham a note saying, hey, time to do that one rental at a time interview. I think I need to lean on my audience more to help them. And I want to shout out my audience because it was my audience that really helped me get Danielle DiMartino Booth and, some other, Ken McElroy, right? It was on Ken McElroy's show as well. So there's a lot of great, the one rental at a time community is just full of great people that are so helpful and so caring and really want to be a part of this. So I guard that as best I can. So I appreciate everyone.
So my advice for that, you absolutely do need to use your audience. This is the way you do it. You go on Graham Stephan's Instagram page, you find the post that he said or a video he made that you like, share that on your Instagram story. But here on the YouTube channel, we say, when you see a post shared from Graham Stephan, go comment on his post. Because if you get a bunch of people commenting randomly on different posts, it won't be as strong as one post you shared on a topic you like with 1 to 200 followers of yours saying, interview. It's harder to ignore that.
There you go. And I want to shout out Jen. Jen is the one that helped us get Daniel DiMartino booth. So Jen, thank you for that. I appreciate you. She worked very hard for that.
Nice. And that was a great interview.
Mhm.
All right, Mike, last question. Oh, shoot. There we go. Last question. This is a philosophical question. This one might blow your brain.
Okay.
All right, big if here, theoretical. If you had never discovered real estate investing, what would your backup plan have been? Owning a business, trying stocks again? What would you have done differently?
I would still be employed as a go-to-market specialist for software companies. I was very good at what I did. And I had just taken my third product from 0 to 100 million. Not many people have done 2. Very few have done 3. And I would be making gobs of money just doing that. Again, it's a high paid skill. It's been 5 years, so the recruiting calls have gone down a lot. But those first 12 months, Mike, I was offered packages that could have been 7-figure OTEs because people like going from 0 to 100 million in 3 to 5 years. And if I didn't have real estate, I'd be probably a 7-figure go-to-market product manager or VP or SVP of something at this point for sure.
But history is what it is. And we have Mike Zuber. We have him on YouTube. We have the books. We have the merch. We have the information. We have the courses. And now we have the Vegas live event. So I think we're all glad that it turned out the way that it did. Mike,
to be clear, I'm glad too. I want to be clear. I mean, I was just being honest. I would be probably a 7-figure earner with base and salary and bonus and stock. I am far happier today. I work when I want. I take months off vacations. I help people. It's not about me. I have what I want. I'm sitting down. But yeah, if real estate wasn't the thing, I'd be 51-year-old, probably traveling 200,000 miles a year, maybe 150, making a gob of money, but having one day off. Every day is Saturday, right? That meant something to me. But I wouldn't know any different, I guess, if real estate wasn't there.
Those were the questions that I'd come up with. There was one final blank space. One thing that's been missing from the channel, one thing that's been missing from this Vegas event, and I think everybody will agree with me. You need to use all of your powers of persuasion. You need to use every ounce of husband capital. You need to call in favors, get the cavalry. You need to beg, plead, borrow, steal, lie, cheat, whatever it takes. But when do we hear from the one and only Mrs. One Rental at a Time?
She will be at the event. She has agreed to come to the event. She has agreed to get on stage. She is far more comfortable one-on-one. So what we've kind of agreed to is she will come on stage. She'll say hi, but she'll be there. So if anybody wanted to ask her questions one-on-one, she is an open book. She doesn't want to get on video. That's very clear. But she'll be there. So I look forward to that.
You know, if you had announced that secret special guest, you probably could have doubled the price of your tickets and still sold out. Like, people have wanted to meet and hear from her forever. I am now twice as excited.
Yeah, she will be there. Absolutely.
Cool. Well, Mike, honestly, those are the questions that I had for you. I really appreciate you taking the time to, first of all, ask me to do this interview and then to answer these questions.
I appreciate you, man. Thanks again. Again, folks, if you don't know, I had no idea what the questions were. So these were off the cuff answers. Hopefully you took something with them. Mike, I appreciate you. You have a Merry, Merry Christmas. You are off today and tomorrow.
Yes, sir.
So enjoy it. Have some fun.
Thank you.